What's going on? You're on Fnatic here. I'm here with the one, the only BKR Sport. How are we?
Got it right, man. Ready to rock and roll for a Titans draft. I've done a couple of these. Obviously, I've done a heap of drafts before, so I'm experienced. I'm experienced in the game, so I'm looking forward to doing it and talking about the greatest team that ever existed.
You're definitely going to be my toughest opponent because I used to always watch your videos from 4 years ago. What do you think my chances are against you?
Look, I think it's a difficult one because the Titans obviously don't have an incredible amount of history. We have only been around since 2007, and it's been a very lackluster amount of years, especially after 2010. Yes, they've made the finals in 2016 and 2021, but even in those years, it was losing years, and everybody else was just also diabolical. So, look, I think I think if you've done plenty of drafts so far, like it'll give you a good helping hand. There's other hard ones too with a lot more history, but with this one. Yeah, look, obviously I know my Titan stuff. I'm a very passionate Titans fan. I went to every game and whatnot, and I absolutely love them, even though I don't like them a lot of the time, but I love them still with that same sense. It'll be difficult for you. The lack of depth will be there, but we'll just have to see how you go.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat with the Tigers where it's a lack of success. I love the club, but also, geez, especially with what's going on now. Would you like to go first, or would you like to go second and third? Because you also have that advantage.
Your channel, man. You choose. Do you want to go first? By the way, how's it going? Like, are we going person who picks first, and then is it like what I did, where the second person gets second and third, or
snake
what?
draft. Yeah, it's the exact same. Snake draft, captain and goal kicker.
Have you got a coin right here? Have you got a coin? Because the first pick is actually very important. Because if you give me the option to take the first pick, then you've lost the draft already. So
I'm okay with that. I've given everyone the option. Some people have gone for
have a coin or anything, or maybe I have a coin. If you don't have a coin, maybe. Okay, I've got a Fiji coin here. I'm currently in Fiji, so I've got a Fiji coin here. So we've got heads is this one, if you can see it, and tails is this one here.
Yep.
So, what we'll say? What do you? You're the host. Heads or tails? And if you get it, then you're first.
I'll go tails.
Tails.
Tails never fails.
And it is. Oh no, son! It's heads. Oh no. Oh, Sonny Jim.
I know who that first pick is, but
I was going to write it down now before I even say it because it's happening. But so are we starting now when we go?
Yep. Start now. Who is your first pick?
All right, that's a tough pick. I could pick Jared Hayne. I could pick Jerome Hughes. But listen, I'm going to pick Scotty Prince here in the halfback. I'm going to chuck him right into that 7 because if there's ever the Titans are a difficult one with depth and really, really difficult overall. And I think that there is a very, very clear 7 here, and that is Scott Prince. Whether he doesn't like the club or not, like he said in the media, the fact of the matter is that he was our best 7. So I'll take Scott Prince.
And yeah, that is one of the rules that we are doing it based on their time at the club. I'm actually 4-1 or 5-1 now at the time of recording, and the one I lost was to the Bulldogs. And I don't know if it was because he had a better team, but Winston had JT at halfback, so it literally broke the JT rule. But I'm doing pretty good against these other guys.
Just a quick question in regards to that: you have the entire history of a club, right? Like your entire history. Well, then why? There's plenty of halfbacks that the Bulldogs to choose. Like Jonathan Thurston's great, but obviously not over the Bulldogs. There's plenty of halfbacks there. With the Titans, there's nobody besides Scotty Prince, really.
Yeah. I had Steve Mortimer, and then I thought he was going to take Brent Sherwood, but he went JT, and I was like, okay. I think he screwed me when he picked George Petronis at 9 and then Ennis at 14, and then I was left with barely anyone. That might have lost me the draft, but I don't know if it was that or the JT at halfback. I have no idea. Besides that,
don't hurt me with these next 2 picks. Don't hurt me with these.
Besides that, I'm undefeated, so hopefully I can keep that going. Okay. One.
I can't believe Will Zillman's still on the board.
I think I need the. I've got 3 names. I just got to figure out which one's the best one. I will go Matt Rogers at centre. because
Center. Okay.
the center depth is very, very lackluster. And I'm gonna go. Oh, there's two people. And I know you'll snap one of them up, but I got to figure out which one I need. I'm gonna take Preston Campbell.
Oh, you're so lucky, dude. Oh, I was going to slap you with a presto if you didn't take him. That was a must. You had to do that, and good answer.
Yeah. Do I want to go at fullback or 5'8"? I'll go fullback.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say that's definitely the right answer there. Dude, I was like, that was the real, for mine, that was the only answer. The other guy, to be honest with you, it could be anyone. I've got plenty of options there, but no, Preston Campbell had to be your pick there. If you gave me Scott Prince and Preston Campbell, you were in a lot of trouble. You would have been on the back foot for the rest of for the rest of eternity. But yeah, good selection there. I probably would have selected Matt Rogers in the 6th rather than centre, but Matty can obviously play really good in the position there.
Yeah.
All right. So where do I want to go here? 5/8 step is pretty damn well short, to be fair. I think that is a key thing. There's plenty of depth in certain other areas. I am actually going to go into my front row here. I'm going to go into my front row. And whilst I think somebody else is fantastic, I'm actually going to take Tino here. I'm going to take Tino and I'm going to chuck him straight in.
Up there.
Oh, really? Oh, true. I thought you were maybe thinking like a... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who you're thinking, to be fair, but fair enough. Tino Fa'asuamaleaui, he will go into the front row. And I'm also going to pack out my front row here. I'm just going to pack it out. I'm going to go with Luke Bailey and pump in the 2 front rowers, bing bong.
That's rough. Okay. Doesn't leave me with many options there. Okay. I'll get this guy now or later. I got a couple options at the front of mind. I'm gonna take Nate Miles early, because if you take him, put him on your bench, I'm cooked. And then
where are you chucking him? Are you chucking him
front row for Nate Miles?
Oh.
And I think I'm okay with not getting him. I'll go. See, I've got someone. No idea where to put him. I'm gonna go Greg Bird.
Okay, yeah, good selection, but it depends where you put him. But good selection.
No, I have no idea where to put him. Because he can play quite a few options.
Chuck him in like on the wing or something.
Yeah, maybe. There's so many options. Now I'm thinking I picked him too early. I'm gonna chuck him at lock.
Chuck him at lock. Yeah, fair enough. Bird, he's an absolute machine. That bloke, he's a machine. He just doesn't stop working. He gets right on into him. All right, where do I move on now? I'm pretty happy leaving. I think there's a lot of Titans fans that are surprised in a selection that hasn't been picked yet, and I'm actually not going to pick him in these next 2 picks. Well, you may take him. Well, Toby Sexton might be the greatest player of all time. He's definitely the sexiest Sexton of all time. But where do I go now? My halfback locked up, so that's my real key position. That puts you on the back foot from the start, which is beautiful. You also don't have a 6. I really wouldn't be surprised if you did it. So I'm actually going to... I think if you're partnering up Scott Prince and Kieran Foran, that's a fantastic team. Like, I think if you're partnering these 2 guys up, that's going to work out. But it could be a little bit early. But I am actually going to take Kieran. I think he's an incredible leader, and I think that he was a guy that held his own at this club. Absolutely phenomenal human. Held his own at this club through some tough years, and he was the reason for those tough years. If anything, he was able to bring us out of being in last place a couple of times. So yeah, look, I'll take Foz there and chuck him into the 6. There's a couple of options there, but I just really wanted to make sure I got him.
Yeah.
And then in regards to, I want to go back into go here. I'm going to take. Oh no, I don't want you to take him, so I'm going to take Ash Harrow. I'm going to take Ash Harrow, and I'm going to chuck him into the 13.
That's who I was going to take, and I kind of regretted picking Greg Bird, so I put him at 13 because I was going to take Harrison on the bench, so you wouldn't get him.
Yeah, no, that's what I was starting to think. I was like, oh, he's got Greg Bird at 13, so will he think about Ash Harrow? And then I was like, no, I have to do it. So I went Ash Harrow, bing bong.
Damn, my plan didn't work. Okay, and yeah, Kieran Foran, one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Had a full chat with him when he won the Ken Stephen medal, and at the Fan Fest when I was doing my live stream, and he had all the time in the world for just to have a conversation. So yeah, Kieran Foran's a great guy. Where to now? Just looking at what options I got available.
To be fair, Leilani Latu is still available. He is still available, Leilani Latu.
Forgot he existed, but an All-Stars rep. I'm gonna go AJ Brimson at 5'8".
Oh, okay. Hey, I thought you were going to consider him for the 14 there to try and screw me. Like I'm pretty happy with the fullback I'm going there, but like look, he is probably, I don't know if he's playing 5'8", but he's probably playing 5'8" for this year. We'll see how it goes. But AJ's a good selection. 5'8", maybe not what I would have selected, but fair enough.
I've gotten 5 there's a couple other names, but my top 5 are already all taken. There's one more name that I could put there, but leaning against it.
Yeah, he played for the Tigers, didn't he?
Yeah. He would be
I know this draft, bro. I know exactly who's on your list. Of course I know who it is.
he would be my 6th option if I didn't get Brimson. And the other name I want, I'm going to take Anthony LaFranchi in the second row.
Yeah, good selection. Yeah, I probably would have taken Buffer. I probably would have taken him in the next go. So, solid selection there. I tell you what, like I know you may select him, you may not, but if it'll be interesting to see if you do select Dave because he's got a very polarizing thought process in regards to that back row position. Can be great, but can be not. But yeah, Anthony LaFranchi was absolutely unbelievable back in the day, and still works heavily with the club. He's still incredibly involved. He's not effective, but he's massive involvement. He's there all the time. All right, next up here. Good mix between the two. Before the Titans existed, though, so we've both got no premiership after the Titans have come in. To remind all the Tigers fans who always remind me of that. They're like, oh, you can't say the Tigers are bad because we've won a premiership. You haven't. I said, well, it doesn't matter because that was before the Titans even existed. So, and I used to be able to say that with the Broncos. Unfortunately, this around. Right. I'm going to chuck to... Yeah, look, I'm going to take a duo here that is unbelievable. And they're going to score tries. They're going to score tries, that's for sure. So, one of the highest try scorers, he was the highest try scorer in our history before. I'm going to take Anthony Don here on the wing. Feed the Don and he will score. I think that's very important there. And like I can just go for a centre pairing here that will absolutely score tries, and I could go a cheeky little James Roberts who won a Dally M Centre of the Year. Dally M Centre of the Year, absolute speedster. His best form was at us. He had a pretty good time at the Broncos, but his best form was at us. He got at certain other clubs with his off-field behaviour, but I'm taking James Roberts. He is our best centre in our club's history.
That's a bit there. I'm putting Nathan Friend at hooker.
It would be on Titans fans' books as probably the best ever hooker that we've had. that was the player I was referring to before that I was actually going to leave, and I'm actually happy with my other number 9. So you could have actually got him last because even though he was great for us, I prefer a different 9. There's actually 2 other hookers that I'm thinking about selecting there, but that was the player I was referring to before. Nathan, great player, but I just feel like I have a personal affiliation with another guy that I love. But anyway, your next pick.
And then I think I know who you're talking about. My other pick. I don't know if it's too early, but I don't love the other options. So I'm taking Philip Semi in the centers.
If you're Sam, hey, fair enough.
I just don't like the other centers options, to be honest.
And this is a tough position at our club, dude. that is a revolving position at our club for sure. You could have even considered putting AJ in the center because when he played at center against you guys in the final round of the season, he absolutely bloody brained it.
Yeah.
In the second half, and came back from 16 points down to with the spoon. Just want to remind everybody of that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, Phil Sami, he goes into the 4. All right, so my 2 selections here. Okay, well, I think you missed a trick by not taking David Mead off me, so I'm going to take David Mead and chuck him on 5.
I was waiting one more round, Tim.
Donny and Mead alongside James Robertson in the centre, and I can leave the centre. Like there's plenty of options. There's plenty of options there at this stage that aren't spectacular, but they're all pretty much in a similar category. So what I'm going to...
I could always put Brian Kelly at 14 and screw your whole draft.
How would that screw my draft?
Why
would Brian Kelly at 14 screw my draft?
Because then I'm taking a center option.
Yeah, but then I'd take Zellman, mate. I take Zellman.
Yeah.
All right, let's move now. What's some big names here that still haven't come off? There. Like I know what my fullback is going to be, and you're not going to put that fullback into the 14. He's not a 14, so I can leave him quite literally to last, which will be nice. I'm going to go back in and start to back into the back row here. Go to the back row, and I'm going to. Actually, you know what? I'm going to chuck him on the bench. I'm going to go Moaki Fodawaker. I'm going to go into the front row and put some bench depth there. And it's funny. I actually feel like when I do Titans drafts, there's been a consistent problem where I actually haven't filled out the back row early, and it causes a bit of a problem for her. So, and we've seen it a little bit again here. But I've gone Moaki Fodawaker and David Mead.
Oh yeah, you went Mead as well this week. Okay.
If you want to give me another pick, I'll take it for free.
No,
for sure.
no. Okay. I'm not sure anymore where I'm going. We're in that middle chunk. I don't need to look at the back line whatsoever. Halves, no. Yeah, no. I just need to boost my forwards now. Okay.
To be fair, like I could do a Desi Hasler and pick our next best winger and put him on the 14. You know, that's what Desi Hasler did with Loffy this year. So I could do that if you want to focus on that back line.
Yeah, that's fine. I do need 2 wingers, actually, not 1. Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm going to go into the forwards. Just where, though? Because Fodawaker was probably going to be my next pick, unfortunately. I'm going to take... I'm looking at this back row. And I just don't know if I pick Fafita or not.
I know it's a hard one. It really is. It's a difficult one because I don't know if I want to pick him. But look, it's an option. It kind of is it's a really polarizing one, man, because he's had his moments, but he's also very often at the club. So I don't know.
Okay, I don't know if I want to put this guy starting or bench. Decisions. I'm gonna put Dave Fafita in the second row.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put Mark Minicello at 16.
16. Good selection there of Mark. So what you're trying to do right now, so you're acting very, this happens in drafts, you're acting as a like a deterrent to me being able to get back rowers. I'll still be able to find him, Sam, don't you worry. But it's reacting to my draft, which is potentially a problem. But I do think Mark Minicello is a great selection there. He's a big bop, but he did make a few mistakes at times, that's for sure. And we would always pray, please don't drop the ball, Mark. Please don't drop the ball, Mark. But we've got a similar player now in Bowie, who is an incredible player, who I'm going to select now because Bo Firma for mine I would have selected over David Fafita. But Bowie is a similar player in a lot of ways to Mark Minicello, where he is incredible and he's such a great player to watch, whether it be for state or not. But overall, sometimes he drops the ball at the worst time. He just so I'm going to take Bowie Firma there. I'm chucking the back row before you try and screw me out of my back rowers.
Again, I was.
Yeah, exactly right. That's what I'm saying. It's reactive, and it's a natural thing that you do because you want to try and. I remember I did a Broncos draft from my boy Adam, and I think I was doing the back rowers too, and he said, "Please settle down, like settle down, mate." He's like, "Take it easy," because he was starting to get scared that there was no back rowers left. It wasn't really, to be fair. All right, so I've got my 1, 4, 9, 12, and bench still available here. I got perfect 14. Absolutely perfect 14. All right, well, I'm going to chuck onto my bench as well, Ryan James. Okay. Chuck the old Ryan James, right into that number 16. So I took Bobby Firma and Ryan James.
Okay. For my next pick, I feel like I need to look at my 14 because I could potentially.
I know you're not taking the fullback that I've got in plans.
See, I don't know if that's. See, you've talked a lot about Will Zillman, and I'm not too familiar with how good he was. So now I'm not sure if he's someone that was liked at the club or someone that you think is bad.
To be fair, to be honest with you, I'll be honest with you, throughout this entire video so far, every player I've been throwing at you has had a pretty common theme. So you can kind of get Zilly's a fantastic bloke, and I love him, and he had his brilliant moments for sure. But I've also been taking the piss. So I'm not going to say that means that he's good or bad, but I'm saying I have been taking the piss a lot throughout the video.
Yeah, I didn't think, because as a kid, the only thing I really know about Will Zillman is because I used to have footy cards from 2008 to 2012, and he was one of the cards every year, but I don't know how good he was. I never really watched him play much. That's why I'm like, and he's the most games at fullback, so I'm like, surely he's not that bad. But I have a feeling I know who your fullback is. And you're right, I'm not going to pick him at 14. But I am going to go the other option just in case I'm wrong. I'm going to take Jaden Campbell. And I'm going to put Jaden Campbell as my...
If you had have taken the guy that I was talking about, if you had taken him, then I would have gone to Jaden Campbell.
Yeah. I think I know who you're talking about. But Jaden Campbell...
Look, let's be honest. I'm not going to tell you who it is, but feel free to think say who you think it is.
Current fullback?
Nothing.
Okay. Yeah, I can't take your options now anyway. Oh, I probably could have if I put Campbell at 7, but I don't think that.
By the way, just a funny little side note, I probably will take Zillman as my phone.
Right. I don't see. I don't know how good he was. I have no idea.
He's very easily Best Sport 2.0 and I we joke about Zilly all the time. He definitely had his moments, but he was very like he had really good times but really bad times. So there'll be two different people have their very different thoughts on him. But I love him, and his personality was very similar to Kieran in a lot of ways. Anyway, it's your second selection.
Yes. I'm really trying to think who you could put at 14 because I don't want to get screwed over. I'm stressing. So I feel like I have to pick my half. But I have no idea who I'm going to put there.
Aiden Caesar played after.
I'm leaning more towards a guy that I think improved a bit after he left the Titans. But I think he wasn't terrible at the Titans. I'm going to go Jamal Fogarty.
Broncos. Oh, Jamal Fogarty. Okay.
Yes. So I got Brimson and Fogarty in the halves. Definitely losing there, but
where I'll relatively disagree that we're Jamal Fogarty. I think it's a good selection because a lot of fans at our club for some reason think he's the greatest player that ever existed. When at the time that he was playing for us, he actually played in a very similar style to what he does at Canberra. It's just Canberra have a better team around him. Yeah. Jamal is okay. Like he's got an advantage on okay, and I say this a lot with the cricket streams. It's like he's good, but he's not going to win a premiership. He's good, but he's not going to lead you to the promised land. He got him as far as the Raiders did, and I honestly think they probably think they'd go better with a different halfback overall. But like Jamal is a solid player who will get the job done, which is why we got to the finals in 2021, but also wasn't going to be able to take us to that next level. And I say the same thing for Canberra, and I say the same thing for Manly, but Anthony Seibold is Anthony Seibold, so I don't think they go too far on a real. Anyway, but all right. So now I'll move.
Because if it wasn't Fogarty, my only other option really was Ash Taylor, and I think Fogarty's a better player than Ash Taylor. So.
Oh, I think you had Albert Kelly. Albert Kelly would have been another option there in the halfback. I would have gone Albert Kelly probably over both Jamal and Ash Taylor. But again, Jamal is he definitely could be a guy that a lot of people do like there in your 7, to be completely honest with you. I just personally probably would like to maybe Albert Kelly. Once Scott Prince goes, it's so difficult, and it just is a mixed bag in regards to who that halfback is.
Yeah, so I didn't even have Albert Kelly written down, to be honest, because I think I looked at games played and he must have been a bit lower. So, yeah, not many options I had written down, but you've got 2 picks now?
It is what it is. All right, so there's a pretty clear... Oh, actually, no, if I don't get that coach, I'll go the other coach. Don't mind about that. We will go into... We're going to keep... Because you've got... Oh, that's cheeky. You've only got one front row forward right now. One starting front row forward, which is Nate Miles. Man, I got 2 selections here. Me. What have you done there? What have you done there? There's a lot of front row options.
But realistically, once I picked him, I'm like, you're not taking him. Yeah. I made a bit of an oopsie there, but let's see what you go with now.
I am going to. Oh, he was very good as a. He can play it too. I don't know if you're going to select this guy, but I am going to round out my board bench outside of the utility value. I'm going to take Jai Arrow here, and I'm actually going to take him into the 17, who I feel like you definitely could have chucked into the front row. I feel like there's an amazing amount of front rowers left. I'm really spewing that I missed it. I didn't select one of my favourite dudes in Titans history, which you may select. I really hope you do. Unbelievable bloke, but I'll tell you about him afterwards, just because if I can't have him, I don't want you to have him. He's too good of a bloke. And then I'm going to go back into my back row before you trying to slap me, because otherwise I'm in a lot of trouble there. But these back rowers, there's not much left here, dude. There really isn't. Yeah. Really isn't much left here at all. Like, I guess you do have the option of Kevin Proctor. His best days were for Melbourne, for New Zealand. But the option of Kevin Proctor is definitely an opportunity. And I have actually selected Kevin Proctor in a previous draft as well, when I was doing it with Blake Russell, I think it was. Do I go the old Kev? Do I go the old Kev? Yeah, look, I am going to take him. He still played for New Zealand when he was with us. He was still a very solid player for us. I do think that he is going down the list, and he was our captain as well. Just too bad that he was too busy on the old vapes at Combank Stadium. But outside of that, he did his job for us. So I'll take Kevin Proctor in the back row alongside Bowie Firma, and I think that's good.
Yeah. Arrow hurts because I was about to take him next. And yeah, I need to look at these.
You're going to put him in the front row?
Front row or bench, but I was going to take him. Okay, what have I got left? Because we're kind of at the point now where we can't take off anyone.
Kind of like I could, if I wanted to. I shouldn't be giving you my tactics, but if I wanted to, that 14, I don't necessarily think it has to be a backline 14. Like at the end of the day, if I really wanted to really go massive on that bench with forwards, I could just go Wampa Stomper and just get another front row forward.
Yeah, because I don't even know who you would take at 14.
I'll take your front row, son.
I don't even know who you would take at 14 because there's not a lot of options left. There's maybe a couple. So it is very limited. I made a couple mistakes. I haven't been on top of my game this draft, to be honest.
About the mind games, man. Why do you think I keep dropping random names?
Yeah. I'm going to take... I know you were going to leave it anyway, but I'm going to take John Cartwright. I think he's the best at your club. So, I don't know.
I would say that he has the best record at the club. I would say there's another coach that if it wasn't for, I can talk about it, Neil Henry, if it wasn't for Jared Hayne, he was actually doing really good stuff with the Gold Coast and in finals in 2016 and whatnot. But John Cartwright, record-wise, he got us to the prelim. He got us real far, the furthest we've got. So, I'm not going to criticize that. He was great, and has gone on to win a premiership with the Cowboys as an assistant coach. Was it? Yeah, Cowboys.
Oh wow, I didn't even know he went there. There you go. Now, I need to really... I don't think there's anywhere I have to worry about, but I am scared now that I'm saying that you still could.
I just realised you had the Campbell duo. I forgot that you got that and Jaden. It's good duo, 114.
I'm going to take the Dougie Doug, Luke Douglas.
That's the guy I was talking about, son. That's the guy. He's the most beautiful man that ever existed, Lukey Douglas. Oh, he's amazing.
I got him at front row with Nate Miles.
100%. That guy, if he didn't get unfortunately caught up with the Cronulla stuff, he was on a massive streak of games. Like he just never got injured, dude. He was a workhorse. Actually, let me see. I think I might. It might be in the other room. Damn it, it might be in the other room. But I got a photo of me and Lukey. Lukey's a great dude. We know each other back in the day. He was one of the first players that actually really I got to know, and he was just such a good dude. Such a really kind-hearted dude. So I love that you have selected him. Even though I was like, if I don't have him, will anyone have him? But no, I do love that he's been selected. And the respect from a non-Titans fan too, because not many people would think about Lukey Douglas outside of the Titans fandom. Maybe Sharks would. All right, so I got my 1, 4, 9, 14, and coach, but your coach is gone, so that's fine. And you definitely don't need my fullback. Still have 2 wingers. Will Stillman's a good shout for that 14, bro. I'm not gonna lie. He is a great shout for that 14 because he can play multiple different positions. But also Albert Kelly is a great selection for 14. To be fair, could get Albo in Albie. And because you definitely don't need a 9, I will also put this thing out there for people watching. The thing I'm thinking about with my number 9, I loved Matty Sarama. Matty Sarama was for mine, if he didn't get injured, would have been the best Titans hooker ever over Nathan Friend. But unfortunately, was just unlucky with injuries. And I do think Sam Verrills is a really good shout there. I think he's one of the hardest workers. He's get 50 tackles plus a game, and he was kind of forced to be a very defensive hooker rather than an attacking hooker under Desi Hasler. A little bit of insight there in a lot of ways. But so I'm really tossing up between those two, but I don't have to think about that right now. So I'm going to go to my number 4. I sent in. I'm going to take Conrad Harrell, Tongan International, done great stuff in the game and was one of our better centres. Did have a knock on in him for sure, Connie Rell. But geez, he was the first guy I ever interviewed on the channel too, on BKR
Wow.
Sport. First ever interview. But no, Connie was a great player for us, and the fans absolutely loved him.
Character.
Yeah, I'm going to have to keep. Yeah, character, dude, character. I am going to go and make sure that you don't chuck Keanu onto the wing. I'm going to do that because because Keanu there was a potential that he could go onto a wing, and I wouldn't say that it's my preferred position, but I could see you doing that just to screw around with me. So I'm going to take Keanu Guinea and put him into the fullback. New Zealand international, came back from a massive injury this year and just decided to absolutely kill it for New Zealand and kill bloody Tigers in round 27.
Yeah. Yeah, County Kinney, I had a feeling you were going to put him a fullback. That was my original thought. That's who you were going with. Where do I need to go now? What are your... I had someone as my second option at hooker, and it was Nathan Peets. Do you not like Nathan Peets?
Well, look, Peetsy has been selected in these drafts before. Nathan Peets has been selected around. It's just that for the most part, he is regarded quite high, but I would say that I thought the potential and the ceiling of Matty Strama was probably better, and I think that Dan Verrills is so underrated for this club. I think, I think Verrills is underrated for this club. Where people look at the results, they don't look at his actual individual performances, and they don't realize that he is more of a defensive hooker because he's been told to play that way. He's actually a really balanced hooker if you look at his days. So hopefully under Josh Hannay, he's able to adjust that and bring more out of it, Sam Verrills. So I wouldn't be surprised if I do select him, but I haven't chosen just yet.
My options aren't great at wing, but I also don't hate them. I fill out my forwards now.
There's definitely one guarantee that you should be selecting on the wing with what's left. There's one guarantee, but the other ones outside of that are all conversational.
Well, I've got 3 options, and I don't know who the guaranteed would be.
I'll let you know if one of them are the guaranteed. So what are the 3 options? I don't need a winger.
Cam Pereira, Greg Marju, and Kevin Gordon. Because I think I'm leaning...
What I'll say is one of the 3 should be guaranteed.
I'm leaning towards Cam Pereira and Marju because I just don't know enough about Gordon, but he's got the most games there, so I'm like, I don't know if he is regarded as a good winger or not. So I'm struggling there. But, and then the forwards, where would I want to go for them? Between 2 for the front row, no one in second row. And then there's also Aaron Clark, that I don't know if he was good for use. Like, I think he wasn't bad for use, but then obviously just became an absolute gun at the Warriors. I've got like 6 names to pick from, and I need to pick 4 of them. And I don't know who the best option.
I'd just pick one. I'd pick one of each. You've got 2 wingers and 2 bench spots left. They're basically the same position that you're selecting from. The same position on 2 different sides you're selecting from. So I'd take one and then think about the other 2.
I'm going to go Jared Wallace at 15. And then on the wing... I could also put Will Zillman.
Really? He's the man in this draft. He's the legend of this draft. Look at him go.
Because I don't know if he's... You said you're leaning towards him for 14, and I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know how good Kevin Gordon was. He got picked pretty late in your last draft. Cam Pereira, he's already gone from the club, but the amount of tries he did score while he was there. And then Greg Marju. I always loved Greg Marju. I think his problem was his defense, but in attack, he is a tackle break machine, one of the best tackle breakers in the comp. When he's in form.
I know you're looking for something from me, but I'm deliberately just letting you do your thing right now. You do your thing. Again, I'm gonna freak you out, but there's one guarantee out of those three. One guarantee. The other two are there's a discussion to be had.
And see, I don't know if the guarantee is Kevin Gordon or not, because I just don't know anything about him. Do I just go to my forwards? I'm stressed. The forward options I've got that I'm tossing up between, it's really only two names, and I don't even know if they're the best names here. It's Aaron Clark, and then it's Brad Myers. Ginger beard. I'm actually gonna go Aaron Clark at 17. Can play lock. Okay. Can play hooker. Was he a?
I was considering him as my. If you didn't pick him, I would have maybe considered him as a 14. Because if you had gone if you had taken my boy Will Zillman, I was thinking either Albert Kelly or Aaron Clark, and that would have really killed you on that bench because the forwards there of Ryan James, Shire, and Moe Fodawaker was crazy, and then Aaron Clark. But it's a good selection.
Did he play rep interesting?
He played it he played for New Zealand and also for the Māori Indigenous team.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got my 9 and 14. So look, my number 9, I am actually going to give the respect that I feel like is due, and I'm going to say Sam Verrills. I think that he is actually super underrated for this club, and people might look at it and they might go, what the shit is that? And I'm happy to take the criticism until he proves it this year, or 2026. Sorry. Shout out Mark if you're watching. Mark's his dad. Big gets around it. So Sam Verrills in the number 9, and then. Look, I'm going to leave the 14 as my last pick. I could do it now. You're not going to take the guy I'm taking in 14. You don't even know if it's Zilly or not for starters. But I'll take my coach, and I will. It's a discussion between Justin Holbrook and Neil Henry, and the reason why I'm going to go with away from Holbrook, despite the fact that I love him, is that I think that Neil Henry was building something special with the Titans until the NRL forced us to sign Jared Hayne. We were in a really good position as a club. We were coming out of some really dark years in the early 2010s, and we got into the 8 in 2016. But that was also the year where Jared Hayne was signed mid-season, and it was forced upon the club, and Neil Henry didn't want him. And then ultimately, Neil Henry was sacked because of Jared Hayne, but because Jared Hayne didn't want him, and then Jared Hayne left. So it was a whole schmozzle. But overall, I'll take Neil Henry. I think that there is an option for Justin Holbrook, and a lot of Titans fans will be just immediately like Josh Hannay to get out of the fact that this last couple of years has been diabolical. But yeah, I'll take Neil Henry.
That's interesting because you went with Holbrook in your last draft.
See, but that was also when that was at a different thought process, because back then I was very much, I knew Justin. Justin was awesome with me. I really appreciate Justin, and I can definitely understand picking Justin.
Yeah.
But I just think that the more I stream, the more I conversate with people online, the more my brain recognizes the comebacks weren't acceptable. We had one good year in 2021, which wasn't actually a good year because we didn't have more wins. We had more losses than wins, and our points differential was in the negative when we made the top 8, and then that Roosters thing happened. I do think Holbrook, again, has the conversation there, but I just think that Neil Henry overall would have been... I think Neil Henry was actually selected by someone in one of the drafts. Anyway, point matter is I'll go with him, but I could have understood Holbrook.
We've also, speaking of 2021, Tigers actually have Patrick Herbert on a trainer trial.
I saw that. Thanks for reminding me.
That's interesting.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, mate.
Now I've got these wingers, and
I was live
like,
streaming for that. I just want to put that out there. I was live streaming my reaction with that. So just please feel for my heart at that time. It was brutal.
yeah,
I just
right.
had comments in the comment section going, lol, lol, ha ha, lol. Should have passed it, lol. Oh, brutal, dude. Brutal.
I'm worried for when the Tigers finally do make the 8, and I've waited 15 years, and then if we
If
lose
Patrick
with
Herbert's
something,
playing,
if we lose like something like that, if like a repeat of that exact kind of moment,
it would be beautiful to see Paddy Herbert be the one to do it, though.
It doesn't even have to be him, but that also would like I don't know if he's gonna get game time this year because our centers are kind of great. I love our centers. It's Taylor and May, Staff and Toa, and then Dewey if you want to chuck him in. So I don't think there's room for him necessarily in first grade. But
stop getting distracted. Who's your wingers?
okay,
Who's your wingers?
I'm leaning. I don't know how good Kevin Gordon is.
Let's go with what your gut feeling. Yeah, you just have to go with your gut feeling. There's no point, thinking what my thoughts are. Just go with the gut feeling that you have.
and then I'm looking at Will Zillman. I think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna go Camper as one.
Yeah.
Just the amount of tries he scored. He's on track to even pass. I don't know if he is now, but as of the start of
okay, so year, my next point to this, Loffy, great in the conversation. He did score a lot of tries defensively, not so great, but overall, very high attacking, speedy winger. Love him, great bloke, Loff. That's not one of the two. That's not the guaranteed one, by the way.
I'm okay. Here's this is what I mean when I said I did a lot of research and I was ready. And I think I know who the guaranteed one is. I'm gonna go Greg Marju. I think is he not? I don't know.
It was Kevin Gordon, my guy. Like, look, Greg is. I'm sorry to laugh at you there, man. You're doing your you're doing your best there. It's just very funny how we built up to this moment, and then Kev Gordon should have been the guy. But like Greg Martiu and Loffy Cabrera, like that's still a very high octane kind of attack. I do like the pairing of those two wingers. But Kevin Gordon, the reason why you probably don't know him is because he was more so back in the 2009, 2010, 2011 days kind of deal. When we were very successful. Him and David Mead were the partnership back in the day. Kevy was the Loffy of the time. Kevy was the Josh Adokar of the time in a lot of ways because he was incredibly speedy. It was literally the fastest guy in the game at the time. But unfortunately, when he went down to Melbourne, Amy Park, did I just connect?
Yeah, you're good.
When I went down to Amy Park, he did his ACL and never came back from that. There was from his career just unfortunately fell away just then. Was actually one of my neighbours in Merrimack on the Gold Coast at the time too when I was younger. But Kevin Gordon was an incredible player and definitely would be in most drafts. I think that David Mead and Anthony Don make the most sense. If it wasn't for those two, I would have gone.
The reason I was like more confident with that second pick is because I also looked at your last draft and you picked Marju over Kevin Gordon, and that's why I was like, surely that means.
I don't think I would have done that. Kevin would have already gone.
No, Kevin Gordon was one of the last picks. You picked Marju, and
I got my draft in front of me here.
Blake took Kevin Gordon as the third last pick, and you already had Marju. So that's why I was like, surely. Fair enough.
Maybe I just missed out then. Maybe I just wasn't thinking.
Yeah. Damn it.
Thinking that doesn't like I trust you. You trust you. You're probably right, but for mine, then I just missed them in my head because I definitely should have gone with Kev Gordon.
I think you knew that we were doing this draft 2 years later, and you did that.
This is just me trying to trick you long term. The newer generation, the younger fans now will definitely back your selection. But people who've been supporting this club since 2007 probably would be saying, definitely Kev. All right, my final selection, 14. It's been building up to this. Are we doing the Zillmeister? Or do I even go with a bit of Matty Strama in the 14? That I didn't select him there. Is there any players that have really, like, big-time players that have really missed out here? Like Petesy is out there. Dave Taylor, Jamal Idris, Al Coughley. Anybody else really here? Brian Kelly, Albert Kelly. Graham Hughes to take him. I'll take him with the 14 if you let me. Rico Dwyer. I think the option really is the Zillmeister. I think the Zillmeister might be the option here. I think it might be the guy. I can't see anybody else really that I think would make the most sense unless I went with Albie. But you know what? Oh, I think he deserves the credit. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna say I love you, Zill. I love the Zill, but I'm taking Albert Kelly. 14. I'm taking Albert Kelly. I think that I'm taking Will Zillman's son. The Zillmeister. Give him the uppercut. We love the Zill. We love the Zill. Raiders legend. Gold Coast Titans hero, Will Zillman. That's my guy right there. He can play. He's definitely a fullback. You can chuck him into the 5'8". You can chuck him into the centres and wing. I've got plenty of cover on the bench with the forwards. I'm taking a Zillmeister. You think, I love Albie. Albie's great, but I'm taking a Zillmeister.
I would have probably went Zillman there as well. Now, who is your captain and your goal kicker?
Ooh, okay. Well, my goal kicker is going to be Scotty P. Scotty Prince will be kicker. And for the captain, I'm going to say something funny here. I don't believe at this point of his career, which is what Josh Hannay said as well, I don't believe that Tino is a captain just yet. I think that eventually in his career he should be captain, but I don't believe that he should be the captain now. I think he's got too much to think about. Not going to select him. The option is there for Luke Bailey. The option is there for Ash Harrow too. Gee whiz. I'm going to take Ash Harrow as my captain.
There we go. I'm now looking at my team and I don't have a lot of goal kickers. There's Fogarty, Matt Rogers. There's Jaden Campbell, but he's on the bench. I think I'll go Matt Rogers as goal kicker. And then captain. I don't know if Preston Campbell was ever was a captain, but I'm going to go Preston Campbell as captain. So that's our teams. That's
who did you say you're going as your kicker?
Matt Rogers.
Rogers.
Okay, so I don't know how well I did. I don't hate my team. I felt like I was on the back foot for most of the draft.
Through them, and then I'll give you my thoughts.
Okay, so at fullback, Preston Campbell. He is my captain. On the wings, Cam Pereira and Greg Marju. In the centres, Matty Rogers as my goal kicker and Philip Semi. In the halves, AJ Brimson and Jamal Fogarty. The front row, Nate Miles and Luke Douglas with Nathan Friend at 9. In the back row, Anthony LaFranchi and Dave Fafita with Greg Bird at lock. At 14, I got Jaden Campbell. And then my bench, Jared Wallace, Mark Mancello, Aaron Clark with the coach, John Cartwright.
Yeah, so I think that you've done as well as you can in the Titans draft, man. I think your biggest problem is going to be your halves of AJ Brimson and Jamal Fogarty. That's where people are going to be like a little bit compared to Scotty Prince and Kieran Foran. But also, you didn't have a great deal of choice. I guess I probably would have selected Matty Rogers in the 6 rather than chucking him into the centres early doors. But Rogers was a necessity as well. And Jamal Fogarty, I can absolutely get. I do feel like the brilliant 14 would have actually probably been AJ Brimson for mine, or you chuck him into the centres. I think that Brimo is either 14 or 34 for mine, especially with Presto being there, or even I probably would have selected AJ because of his history at the club of Keanu if he was there. But with the fact that one AJ was there, it wasn't there, it made most sense. But I also would have considered going Keanu and then AJ into that 14, which one is what I would have probably done. The back row is good. LaFranchi, David Feeder is questionable, but you've got plenty of back row. Plenty of people who can go into the back row there. It just depends if Dave feels like playing in that game. Greg Bird's another option there. He was unbelievable. And you went with the overall consensus 9 that everyone will believe is the best, but I feel like Titans fans should really be coming around on Sam Verrills, to be fair. And I think that Matty Strama was a great option there too. So look, I don't. Look, I think you did as well as you damn well could. I think you did. I'll be honest with you. I do think that my team probably does win this out, but your team you've done as well as you could. And you got John Cartwright, who was a coach that got us as far as we possibly did.
Yep. Let's hear your team, and then we're done.
My team, in the fullback, we've got the New Zealand international Keanu Kenny, with the wingers being Anthony Don and David Mead, just absolutely try-scoring machines there for the club. Then we go to the centres of a Dally M Centre of the Year in James Roberts and Conrad Harrell, the man, the myth, he was just a legend of this club. We go to the halves, the solidity and the passion of Kieran Foran alongside clearly the greatest halfback in our history, Scott Prince. He's also going to be kicking for me. Then you go to the front rowers here. Oh my gosh, the Bopper Dream duo. The Bopper Dream duo, Tina Fastul-Malawi and Luke Bailey. With the number 9 being Sam Verrills, just defensive workhorse, and I feel like he'll really bring that balanced game back into his system now under Josh Hannay. Different system under Desi Hasler, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. But Sam Verrills, he needs to get the credit that he deserves. Go to the back row, Bowie Firma and Kevin Proctor. New Zealand international there with Kev when he was at the club as well, and Bowie Firma, state representative, and potential to be a captain for this club in the very near future if Josh does go away from Tino. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. And then the 13, oh my gosh, it was incredible. It was just incredible. Ash Harrow, he is the captain. Then we go to the bench. Billy is the 14. He can play pretty much everywhere. You go to Mikey Fodawaker. He is a state and international representative. Ryan James and Jai Arrow, with the coach being Neil Henry. And we'll go over it. What are your thoughts from an outsider's perspective? What are your thoughts in the two drafts?
Yeah, I don't hate my team at all. But I do think you've got it over me here. Just because at any little plan I had never worked. I went Greg Bird thinking I could wait one more round and get Harrison on the bench. Didn't work. What else did I do that didn't work? So do you reckon I should have swapped Matt Rogers and AJ Brimson?
Yeah, I personally would have done that. Some people might not. I think Matt Rogers should have been guaranteed 6. Fine, but AJ Brimson then could have either been centre or he could have been 14, and I would have selected AJ in the 14 over Jaden kind of deal. But centres wise, who's missed out? Blake went Jamal Idris, which was graceful. It was James Roberts and Jamal Idris there. Conrad Harrell, Brian Kelly was a good shout there. I do think that he's fans not a big fan of him, but still he deserves to have his name brought up. Luke O'Dwyer was there as well. But overall, I think that Phil Sami does make sense, even though in recent years it hasn't been spectacular. He can have big games, so he can have absolutely massive games. So I personally would have put Matt Rogers into this.
I just always have thought of Matt Rogers as a centre. I've never really I know he played a bit more variety, but when I think Matt Rogers, I think centre. So. But yeah,
an incredible player, man. When I do these on my live streams, I go through each team and I compare positions. So fullback versus fullback, and then wingers versus wingers. Fullback versus fullback, I would say it's 1-0 to you. I have to go with Presto there, so 1-0. Wingers wise of Anthony Don, David Mead versus Lofi Camperera and Greg Martiu. I am going to have to go with mine there and say it's 1-1. And then in the centres of James Roberts and Conrad Harrell versus Matt Rogers and Philip Sami, I feel like I personally do like mine more, but I can understand why Matt Rogers probably wins that out. But again, James Roberts did win a Dally M Centre of the Year. It's too bad the way that his career ended at the Gold Coast. From an outsider's perspective, you've probably taken Matty Rogers and Philip Sami. So I'll give you that. I'll grant you the centres, even though I personally do prefer mine. Then we go to the halves there of Kieran Foran and Scott Prince versus Jamal Fogarty and AJ Brimson. 2-2. And then we go to the front row here of Tino and Luke Bailey up against Nate Miles and Luke Douglas. I love Nate Miles. I love Luke Douglas, but Tino and Luke Bailey win this battle hands down for mine. Yep. We go to the nines of Nathan Friend and Sam Verrills. I'm going to grant you that on that, even though I disagree personally, but I will grant you that Nathan Friend, consensus-wise, would be above. So that's 3-3. Bowie Firma and Kevin Proctor, Anthony LaFranchi and David Feeder. That's actually a really interesting battle because LaFranchi was incredible and he was really good. And Dave had the potential, but Bowie Firma is also really, really good. And Kev Proctor is also really good. You know what? To be gracious, I'll give you that one. I'll give you the back row. But I do think that's a good battle. So that's 4-3-U. But then Ash Harrow versus Greg Bird, I am taking Ash Harrison there every day of the week. So that's 4-4. And it comes down to the bench there. And I am like Will Zillman, Mike Fodawaker, Ryan James, and Jai Arrow versus Jaden Campbell, Jared Wallace, Mark Monticello, and Aaron Clark. I would be taking the 14 through 17 on my side there in a lot of ways. So I think it would be 5-4 on that basis. I guess if you want to go to coach, you can say it's 5-5, but that's also discussion as well. So based off of that, you've done pretty well. Based off of what I've just said there, you've done pretty well. But overall, if these two teams are playing each other, I think Scott Prince and Kieran Fawn run the brink over Jamal Fogarty and AJ Williamson though.
What do you think the public will vote on this? Because this is going to be an anonymous vote for about 7 hours. What do you think the public's going to think without seeing whose team is whose? Without
saying whose team is whose, it really depends. It's hard because it's hard. It's really difficult because people will. It depends on their age brackets. Like age brackets, a lot of younger generation aren't going to know guys like Ash Harrow. They're not going to know guys of how good Luke Bailey was. They're not going to know how incredible Scott Prince was, but they'll know his name at the least. You know, Anthony Don, David Mead. A lot of these guys.
Did you notice with your drafts that you were doing the voting seemed off sometimes, or was it usually right?
No, it was usually pretty good. It depends. Like, and then you've also got, if you're putting votes out, it's good you're doing anonymous. Then people will vote the person that they like the most, as in like not the actual team.
I've tried to find
I think that look, I think they probably depends on what your age bracket is, man. I'll be honest. If you do win, I think you've done a good job here. Overall, though, if these two teams play each other, I would probably say my team probably wins by not an amazing amount, but like a convincing amount.
I'm leaning towards your team, but only 1 to 12. I think it'd be pretty close. But I'm
saying like 10 points. You know, I'm saying like convincing. I mean, like confident, like 10 points.
Yeah. I think I'm. I really don't hate my team. It's just the halves that are the biggest problem, and maybe the wing. The front row. But elsewhere, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna do it for this draft. Everyone, if you don't know BKR, where can everyone find you?
YouTube, Instagram. We're gonna be doing some TikTok stuff, but BKR Sport, that's the place to be.
Yep. Thanks for hopping on. The OG draft guy right here. But yeah, that's gonna be it. See you more.